Hey guys, Morgan here with another review video. Today I'll be giving you guys my thoughts and impression on the Nosfet Apex. I've gotten to ride around 200 miles on the Apex during my trip in Taiwan. Thank you to Jack from Nosfet for letting me ride it. So my opinions and input aren't as educated as in other videos where I aim to get at least 500 miles on the wheel before doing a review. But as usual, this video will be split up into 3 sections: the specs, the pros, and the cons. Starting off with the specs. The Apex has the same internals as the Lynx, meaning it has a 2700 watt-hour battery, which will give you anywhere between 70 to 30 miles of range depending on your speed. On the topic of speed, just like the Lynx, this wheel can get upwards of 55 miles per hour. The fastest I went on it during the trip was 50 miles per hour and I never hit beeps. It is equipped with the same very torquey 3200 watt motor as the Lynx. I'm impressed by how well it tackled those stairs. Loads of torque in that thing and just very powerful overall. Now moving on to the pros. Coming from daily driving a Lynx, the Apex has much nicer firmware. It accelerates faster and overall feels better handling-wise than the Lynx. It even feels more stable at speed, and the large amount of customizing with pedal height and the suspension is a nice touch. The headlight is very bright, and for city riding, the cutoff is nice. Although I do wish instead of the headlight having 3 brightness modes, instead a low beam with cutoff mode and a high beam with no cutoff mode for off-roading. The taillights are also very bright, probably the brightest in the industry so far. I just wish there was a way to fully turn them off for when you're trying to go stealth. For example, we were walking our wheels through a train station and inside of trains, and we're trying to bring as little attention to ourselves, but even with the taillights in the off mode, they would still strobe brightly from time to time. So we had to fully unplug the taillights. The handles on the Apex are really nice. I'm not entirely sure why people are making fairing kits for it that get rid or replace the handles. They're easy to grab when riding, don't get in the way of the screen, never hit your knees, and have 2 very nice grab spots for when you're lifting your wheel. They are definitely the best handles in the industry. The suspension is very nice. Having 150 millimeters of suspension travel, which is the highest in the industry, is really nice. It helps give you a cush ride, and with a really good linkage system, it does a very good job at dampening no matter how big the drop or jump. Now onto the cons. Staying on the topic of suspension, I'm not sure if it was the coil shock that was installed, but after trails, it tended to make a squeaking sound and some rubbing, though it usually went away after a couple hours of street riding. The lack of trolley handle was pretty annoying when we had to walk our wheels around in train stations. The wheel is thankfully tall enough to where I didn't have to bend over too much, but it was still pretty uncomfortable and tiring. The lack of flat area to put your butt down was also pretty inconveniencing. After miles and miles of trail riding, your legs will naturally get pretty tired, and at least personally, I wanted to take some leg rests while we were riding on flatter trail sections by sitting on the wheel, but the lack of place to sit forced me to stay standing and prevented me from being able to rest my legs. This is also an issue when we are stopped waiting for a red light or for others to catch up. I had nowhere to sit down whilst waiting. The screen, whilst being bright and easy to see during the day, was kind of cluttered with these weird designs. The speed numbers could have been larger as well as the battery bars. On the right side of the screen, there's also bars that show how much force is being applied forward or backward, which is kind of useless, and I would have preferred if it instead showed your PLBM. This leads to my main issue with the Apex, and it is that it feels like it has a lack of main purpose. On one hand, it lacks a trolley handle and seating area because it's advertised as a wheel to only do extreme riding on, mainly off-road. On the other hand, it's got an adjustable suspension and a cutoff headlight, which are features you would look for in a more chill commuter wheel. In this review, I didn't touch much on the Apex's big feature of having easily adjustable suspension travel, because realistically, you will most likely almost never change it. In conclusion, the Apex is probably the best off-road wheel out there and a really good street wheel as well. For more extreme riders, I would definitely recommend it over similar wheels like the Lynx, but I really do wish the Apex came stock with a seating area and trolley handle. It would really make the wheel the best for everything. Hey.